What's up, guys? Corey has no life here. How you doing out there today? We are here for episode number 5 of the Noob career mode here in F1 2019. As you can see on the screen, we're going to be taking this one from the Baku Street Circuit, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. See, we're currently 8th in points altogether. George Russell down in 14th. And we're not doing too badly in the constructors either. You see, we've also got Devin Butler officially as our secondary rival. So we're going to get straight into the episode here after the loading screen, which I forgot to edit out. Get the general rundown of the messages. We see that we got all the upgrades that we asked for completed there. And we're also going to be up for a contract renewal at the end of this episode, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, I thought that I would be a little bit cheeky and put in all the oldest components that we were running with the crappiest stats. And it kind of worked against my favor a little bit here in practice 1. It was definitely a struggle trying to get through all the practice programs, trying to get the speed up for it. So we got to listen to the commentators.
Welcome to the Baku City Circuit, where free practice for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is about to get underway. This is a technical circuit which will nonetheless see some huge speeds with a near flat-out final sector that's twice the length of Shanghai's back straight. Let's see who can find the right balance in their setup today. Now then, Anthony Davidson, we've had some really strategic races over the past couple of years, thanks to the current 3-tyre compound system, and of course the groundwork for all those strategies comes from the free practice sessions like this one. So what do you think of the current tyre regulations?
Well, they've created some, I wouldn't say exciting necessarily, but certainly interesting races. There have been a lot more questions around, like how long can someone stay out on this set, or will they have the pace to catch another car if they suddenly bolted on a set of ultra softs, things like that. When everything comes together, we end up with multiple cars nose to tail on different tyres, all fighting for track position. So on the whole, it's definitely been a positive step, I feel, for the sport.
Now, I'm not sure if anyone caught it there, but one of the commentators was talking about the Ultrasofts. But we don't use the Ultrasofts anymore, so it's weird that they would bring it up here in the game. As you can see, practice 1 is over. You can see Devin Butler down there in 12th. Lucas Weaver got P2 in this one. I think he must have been doing his qualifying programs there. We scroll down the list. There's George Russell in 15th, and we scroll down even further to 18th, and that's where you'll find me. As I said, was just not comfortable when we go here to the screen again and we start playing around. We're gonna put in the extra stuff that we got at the end of last episode, well, at the start of last episode, just for the certain components, because some of it wasn't too badly worn, but the stuff that we had started to wear on, I just thought we would just put them on, and hopefully the slightly newer stuff would help quite a bit. We just also went and checked the gearbox. It looks like we've been wearing the gearbox just as quickly as the races we've been doing, so we might have to take a grid penalty for that one, either this episode or next. We decided not to do it just at the moment though. Now here with practice 2, we've encountered something that we haven't encountered too terribly much of, and that is rain. You can hear it on the roof of the pit lane here. We got rain. See it there in the weather as well. So we skip ahead of the rain. This is the end of practice 2 here, and as you can see, we went green for the qualifying program, and we're trying to improve, and as you can see, we're very far down on it, and I was just really frustrated because I wanted to get this done earlier in the session. We make one small mistake there, we clip the inside wall, which just shot us straight into that outside wall. And we had to retire from the end of practice 2 there, which thankfully wasn't very much left. As we go on to the positions, we still got P4, even though we botched the qualifying program there a little bit. Lucas Weber there in 7th, and we scroll down a little bit further here. We find George Russell in 16th. He didn't get any dry running there, and neither did Devin Butler down in 19th. So we're probably just fortunate that we got some dry running there. Now time for an interview.
Let's talk about it. You had a mishap in practice. Will this affect qualifying or race day? Are you hoping things clear up before qualifying? It looks like you've really been focusing on research and development this season. Appreciate your time.
And there we go, there is the interview that we had with Claire. And now this is the end of practice 3. We attempted the qualifying program again. It was only good enough for P4. And then we actually had to run the race program on the soft tires that we were running for the qualifying program, because the team threw out my medium compound tires instead of my hard compound tires. So I thought that was a bit weird. As we see now, the resource points bundle that we're going to get here. We're up to 629, so we're going to look at getting some more stuff looked at in R&D. That'll probably be next episode. But straight onto qualifying now.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So we're going to move straight on to qualifying 1 here. We actually had to do 2 laps in qualifying 1. The first lap that we did was actually kind of trash. As you see here, this is actually the first lap that I'm referring to. So I'm going to just be quiet here so we can enjoy the lap. You see I make a lot of just little mistakes which just added up in the end. So that is the end of that first lap now. We come back into the pits to see where it lands us.
Engine temperatures, press the MFD button to open the multifunction display.
And we don't feature in the top 10, so we've got to cycle down a little bit here. And we're out of the top 16, so we've got to take another run at it now. So we put on a fresh set of softs now.
So far our fastest lap is a 1 minute 45.
And we're going to go and take a second run at it. And this is just to get it into qualifying 2. I was sitting here thinking, geez, if we can't even make it out of qualifying 1, then I must be doing something very terribly wrong. And I was even contemplating doing the grid penalty thing again and putting in all fresh components all over again and putting in a fresh gearbox and all that. So let's just sit here and watch this lap now. As you can see there, we've crossed the line and improved our time by just a little bit over an entire second, which was crazy. I didn't know that I could pick up that much time in my lap. As we roll back into the pits, and before we can even get settled in our pit box, that is the end of qualifying 1, and we have finished off in 5th place. As we start going down a little bit, there's Devin Butler up there in 13th. Our teammate George Russell in 15th. And Lucas Weaver down in 17th there. So he is out of qualifying 1. But George Russell, our teammate, just squeezing in to qualifying 2 here. Time for qualifying 2 to begin. Now, rather than going out on my fresh set straight away, I opted to go out and do a banker lap on a slightly used set. So our banker lap here was only good enough for 13th, but 2 people had yet to make a run at it. This is where we strap on our fresh set and we go for broke.
2 laps of fuel left.
Now we cross the line, we go better by a second and a half on that lap, which at the time put us to 10th. We skipped through to the end of the qualifying, and we have actually dropped out of the top 10 there. George Russell made it into the top 10 shootout, so kudos to him, well done. But us and Devin Butler are out of qualifying now, with me in 11th and him in 14th. So we'll do a quick checkup on how our resource points are doing, update the rivalries a little bit with the qualifying results, and then it'll be time to get cracking on with the race. As you can see there, George Russell clawing a point back on me, make it 12 to 18, and we pull ahead of Devin Butler a little bit. 175 resource points gained there, bringing us up to 800.
All right.
Time for talking is over.
Successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
It's time to go for the race at Baku.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Hülkenberg, Gasly, Stroll, Russell, and Williams, Magnussen, Grosjean.
So as you can see there, we're up into the P10.
Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, Albon and Daniel Ricciardo.
Verstappen down to 17th with penalties, and Ricciardo again down to 20th with penalties. So things are not looking good for our Australian compatriot there. The second race that he's had penalties.
Let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Alright, no worries, Jeff, as we go in and have a look at the setup now. Well, not the setup, sorry, the strategy. We're going to play around and see what it was going to be like if we came in a lap earlier and a lap later. And even though a lap later looked like it was good on paper, I don't think it would have really been that terribly good. The undercut here on 2019 seems to be about where we want to be. So formation lap is over now. It's time to get busy for the race. As we go to 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We get a big dive up there, get squeezed out by Hülkenberg in the Renault, and lost all the positions that we started off with, bar one. And we quickly get our teammate back and squeeze him into the wall on the outside of turn 2. I don't think he got any damage from that. but we don't see our teammate again for a while. Coming up to turn 3 now, and we are catching up to the back of Gasly. Of course, for the first couple of laps, DRS is not active. So if we're going to pass him, we're going to have to do it with pure handling and horsepower. But by most standards, this is actually a pretty tame first lap as we come up through the castle section, the most dangerous part of this track. I run a little bit wide on the exit of the castle section there. And as you can see, I lost a ton of time to Gasly there. But yeah, this race was a constant cavalcade of little incidents that could have been avoided by me. A lot of time locking up and getting some snap oversteer. As we rack it up into Rich Mix to see if we can maybe catch up to Gasly a little bit, maybe launch a challenge to him into turn 1. But it looks like we might be just a little bit too far away for that at the moment.
You're hitting the energy deployment limit and losing ERS power before the end of the lap. Lower the ERS deployment mode to prevent this.
It's in automatic, Jeff.
Now, keep it up.
As we skip through to later on in the lap here, we make a big dive on Gasly, and he squeezes us out. We got a little bit sideways there, but we are right on his tail coming through the castle section. Our AI have been so strong through that castle section. As we got yellow flags ahead, grabbing another big handful of oversteer. We see some smoke, and we get around Gasly, who got stuck behind the stricken car. We've got to let him back by, and we'll go check the replay. And it's Charles Leclerc. His car has gone up in smoke big time, so that is going to be him out with an engine issue. He's lucky he didn't get collected by anyone. So we see the view now from Gasly. Got caught right up behind Leclerc there, as Leclerc was on the racing line. And I slowed up there to let him back by. We go back to green flag conditions now. Because I had not been warming up my tyres, you see we got a little bit of oversteer there, had to correct. We ran wide in the first corner. Now we skip on to the end of lap 3, and we actually have Magnussen right behind us. He's going to look for the big outside overtake. He's got the DRS, we slip back into his draft. And we go for the big Ricciardo dive bomb on his inside, make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. But all is clean and clear, we get the spot back. And we maintain it throughout this lap. Even though he gets DRS here as well, he didn't actually get close enough to us to mount a challenge. And we skip ahead to lap 4 now. And again, he is right behind us and sitting in our draft. But he didn't get close enough to us to get us earlier on the straightaway. So we got the advantage on him again. And that time we made heavy wheel-to-wheel contact. Luckily, neither of us actually got some damage from that. And now this is our in-lap, so we were pushing pretty hard for the rest of this lap. We left it in rich mix for most of it. As we come through now to the end of our in-lap here. Gasly up ahead, but he doesn't go into the pits, so he's going to go a little bit longer. We'll see if we can get an undercut on him. We'll get it pulled up just in time for the line.
Complete, go now.
And we come out behind Albon there.
Let's get some heat into those tires.
And it looks like we've got Verstappen coming out of the pits behind us, so that's why Gasly didn't pit. because his teammate was in. Now we skip forward to the end of lap 6 here. We got Albon and Hulkenberg right in front of us. I was going to look to get the move done here. Couldn't quite get it done. Just didn't have enough horsepower behind me. Toro Rosso must be working on their engine a little bit, because they're pretty quick in a straight line. Then we go for another big dive bomb. Cut off his exit. And that's a slide job for those playing the game. And now we're up behind Lando Norris, who was just overtaken by Hulkenberg. Lando going very defensive there, so we're going to squeeze up around his outside, range right up to the back of Hulkenberg, lock up, get some oversteer on the exit, but we get the move done, and without making contact. Now we skip to the end of lap 7, and we're right up behind Hulkenberg. As you can see, we do have a little bit of front wing damage there, from probably one of the many times that I had actually had contact with Hulkenberg. We get the DRS. He's got no one in front of him, so he doesn't get the benefit of DRS. He's going defensive, so we're going to go around the outside of him in turn 1. He tries our trick, but he doesn't get back to us. We stay ahead of him, and that's us back up into P5, as about 2 other people in the pits were past for position. And now we skip ahead to the end of lap 12, and Lando Norris is out of the race. We go and check the replay camera, and it looks like he must have an electrical or a hydraulic issue in the castle section, because he just pulls over to the side. There's no smoke. And now we're going to ride on board for the final lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here.
This is your final lap of the race. Gap to teammate behind is 28.4 seconds. Hamilton's out in front.
Here we come now up to the start-finish line, and that is another 5th place finish
That's the end of the race. We'll see
for us at Williams. It's a great race.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So there's the podium. Hamilton, Vettel, and Bottas. So we go through to have a look at the results here.
Driver standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table.
See that we are in
Anthony
5th.
Davidson, who would you rank as your driver
We
of the
scroll
day?
down a little bit,
Effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world.
and we see that Butler is in 11th, and Weaver actually finished in 12th there. And we go scroll down a little bit further to find our teammate George Russell, who finished down in 17th. So that's not very good at him at all. We have a look at the standings, and I'm up to P7. Our teammate's still down in 15th, no points scored. As we're going to have a look at the constructors as well. And we have moved up to P4 in Williams. And this is thanks completely to me. Let's face it, George hasn't finished in the points at all the entire season. So right now I'm carrying Williams.
Let's have your take on it. Some excellent overtaking moves from your former teammate today. Did he learn some of them from you? Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip? Appreciate your time.
So there we go. That is the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're going to go through and do the rivalry update and then the resource point update. And as you can see, we've absolutely smashed Devon and Russell. And now for the resource points. Now we actually completed a team objective of getting the clean race, so we got another 400 bonus resource points there, which brings us up to 1547. We gained respect with most of the teams.
Excellent result today.
And now it's time to start the contract negotiation.
On to the next one.
And now I've never done one of these before, so I wasn't sure what I was expecting. So as we go in and start the
Time for us
negotiations,
to renegotiate your contract. Here you can see the current deal. Once negotiations begin, the team will make you an offer. You can accept if you like, but I strongly suggest we push for better terms.
I left the race bonus on level 1, I asked for level 3 on upgrade speed, I asked for a level 3 on the simultaneous development, and I put the pits onto level 1 as well. Now I thought that this was going to be
Okay.
hard for them to
proposal
commit
looks
to, but
good. It seems all
apparently
parties
I
are
undervalued
so
myself
it'll
there.
commence at the next race weekend.
So next time I come up for a contract renewal, I'm going to be asking for a lot more. I wasn't sure on what we're going to do R&D wise, so I decided not to do any upgrades at all at this point. So we are going to be waiting until the next episode at the very start, which is where I will do the upgrading. But for now, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode. Please leave a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more Formula 1 2019 content or any of the other content that I provide, whether it be iRacing, real life racing, or coming soon dashcam footage. Here's the driver standings and the constructor standings again, and we're going to leave you again as per normal with the highlights package as provided by Formula 1 2019. So until I see you guys again, I'll see you guys next time.